Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, welcome. My name is Brayden Timmons, and today we are talking about Finn Wolfhard and Billy Brick's new movie, Hell of a Summer, which is in theaters this Friday. I had the chance to check it out last week, and Finn Wolfhard, Billy Brick, and Fred Hetchinger was actually all in attendance at the screening. It was pretty cool to hear them speak in a Q&A after the screening about this film and kind of how they ended up getting it made. And obviously we know Finn Wolfhard from the several years he has been on Stranger Things, and we are still waiting on that fifth and final season, but we're getting it hopefully this year. But seriously, guys, Finn Wolfhard and Billy Brick are directing a movie. This is both of their directorial debuts, and it is a horror film. And obviously, Stranger Things fits within the horror sci-fi realm, so seeing Finn Wolfhard take on something like this is really kind of awesome to really show that he really appreciates the 80s, slashers and the horror genre and everything like that. Because again, Stranger Things is very much involved in the 80s, so it really does show that he has learned from the Duffer Brothers over the years as to really how to put together a movie. And this is obviously his directorial debut as well as Billy Brick's. And when it comes down to it, Hell of a Summer, there's some fun to be had. It is clearly a first-time director sort of film, and you'll see exactly what I mean when you see the film and get a chance to experience it. But I also don't necessarily mean that in a bad way, because there is a lot of fun to be had within this movie. Right off the bat, if you are a fan of 80s cheesiness, then again, there is so much that I feel like you're going to love and adore as you sit down and watch this film play through. The film has a nice, tightly knitted runtime at an hour and 28 minutes, so it basically puts it in the realm as to what horror films were lengthwise around the 80s and really the early 90s, and you are going to catch on to a lot of references as well. For example, this film tells the story of camp counselor Jason, who thinks his biggest problem is feeling out of touch with his teenage coworkers. What he doesn't know is that a mysterious mass killer is lurking on the campgrounds, brutally picking off victims one by one. And right off the bat, the main character's name is Jason. That is clearly a nod to Friday the 13th. He runs a camp, a summer camp and everything. So obviously this is right off the bat Friday the 13th. And then throughout it, you get a lot of vibes from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You get some vibes from Scream. The biggest problem that I have with this movie is that it just is not original. Nothing about it is original in the slightest. Again, that's not necessarily a bad thing for a first-time director to really hone in on what they know and what they're familiar with. There is definitely some good camera work, but there are scenes that happen way too fast. There are kills that happen way too fast. There are moments that happen way too fast that doesn't really allow time to breathe before the next thing is happening. So it makes it very hard to really appreciate everything that had just gone on before it jumps into the next element of the movie. There are fight scenes that happen that I do feel like could have been fleshed out a lot more and really utilized a more wide shot so that way we can see exactly what's going on. Some of the choreography is a little choppy throughout the film, one of the bigger issues that I had with it, but the jokes, the cast, there were some laughs throughout the screening. Some jokes hit, others, of course, did not hit. Keep in mind, these are two very young filmmakers trying to make people laugh with some of the 80s cheese, and it did resonate well with some audiences, specifically the general audience. The critic section was a little bit more silent. Fred Hetchinger is pretty fine in the movie. Now, they did film this before he went off to be in Gladiator 2, and I did not even realize that was him at first. My girlfriend Lily had to point out to me that that was the guy from Gladiator 2. I was like, oh my gosh, holy cow, he was in Gladiator 2 this past November. I thought that they filmed this like right around the same time. And so I think Fred Hetchinger is fine in the movie for, the material that he's given. I do feel like that his character could have used a little bit more development. The characters for sure as a whole could have used a lot more development in order for us to care a little bit more about them when things start to happen. But I mean, at the end of the day, guys, this is a slasher movie. You don't go into slashers hoping for an Oscar-worthy film. You go into them for a good time and some cheesy jokes. And for the most part, you're going to get the cheesy jokes and an all right time. And the kills, though, a lot of them are unfortunately off screen, which is going to, I feel like, diminish the audience that this is supposedly meant for, because a lot of horror fans, especially with slashers, love to go into these things and see good gnarly kills. There's a few of them in here, but don't expect it with every single kill. There's a lot of cutting away, which unfortunately does dock this down just a tad bit. But I mean, again, guys, go in, expect almost nothing, and you may have a pretty solid time with this one. I think that Finn Wolfhard and Billy Brick show some promise with their directorial debut. I'm definitely curious to see what they're going to do next, and they have my full attention as they progress throughout their career. But with this one, guys, it's very basic. Like I said, not a whole lot of originality. So this one, for me, it was okay, but nothing really that great. Hell of a Summer, 2.5 stars. So with all that being said, guys, post your guys' comments down below. Let me know, what do you guys think? Are you guys looking forward to Hell of a Summer, or are you guys just kind of gonna take this one off? Whatever your thoughts are, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you guys like this, don't forget to join me on my journey to 20,000 subscribers, and I will see you guys in my next video.